So welcome everybody to the Fall 24 Connect meeting. What I really wanted to do in my introductory remarks is to really set the stage for the next 2 days. So the type of the meeting is Connect. And that's really what it's about. That's what the opportunity together face-to-face with our colleagues who are online. It's about taking the time to step away from your individual priorities, individual companies, and actually elevate some oxygen and just think about the opportunity that is ahead of us at this point in time. And I'll give some context to that statement in a minute. But what I want to do is one of the things that I think we really want to double down on. We want to make sure that there's a connection between the business model of the foundation, a connection between the decisions being made at the board level, the strategic opportunity discussed, the conversation that we have more collectively as a community. So let's ask for that. So the next meeting is really a pivot point for us as a foundation. So we are transitioning to what we're calling business model 3. And yes, the fact that it's meant we started with 1.0, we've been through 2.0, and now we're at 3.0. Why does 3.0 matter? What does it mean for us as a community? Where we're going from is an organization where we had the persistence of the founders of Allotrope, largely, or if not exclusively, biopharmaceutical companies. And we partner network, which is basically vendors and providers. And when we began this journey more than a decade ago, that this was not something that we could do alone. But we didn't yet have the aligned vision, and we did have the trust and working relationship with each other to have the confidence that we achieve the aspirations of Allotrope, working together seamlessly as a connected community. So we had in the partner network category of full APN members, we had the sports, and then we had the non-commercial, primarily academic APN members. I am super excited at where we are now on the right-hand side in the 2 bucket. So why am I excited about this? I'm excited about this because it shows the maturity of us as a foundation. It shows we reach the point where we can come together and we can create the future together. And to me, that's the really important milestone, is this now is an agenda, a path that we can co-create together, not independently coming up with strategies, sending emails, putting it in the post, hoping that the vendors will work with us together, but actually in the room together, co-creating the strategy, co-creating the options, working through together and making those choices. And so now where we have equity, Allotrope Foundation commercial members, where we have 2 categories, which are full and associate, and then we basically have the non-commercial members. And yesterday was the first board meeting where we had everybody sitting around the same table. Now, whilst we don't move to all commercial members sitting on the board having the voting rights or the membership agreement, the legal paperwork, is expect to happen very early in January. The spirit of the meeting yesterday was equity amongst the board and the board members. So what I want to share a little bit is the topics that as we, as a broader community, get together for this Connect session, that we have the context of what was discussed in the room at the board, we bring that into the meeting. And then as we begin the meeting today, and then I'll get a little bit of color on the agenda, that is top of your mind. So we go through the next 2 days and we out on day 2, that basically that begins our wider collectively together, defining the strategy, the options, and the plan that we put in place for 2025. So with that, as we looked about our strategy 2025 and beyond, what we did is we looked at areas of both product focus and implementation focus. And we felt it was important to differentiate these. So when we look at product, we very, very clearly understand what our product focus is, and we know what we're doing. And so what you see on the left is the focus of our products, right? We know that we're defining ontologies, vocabularies that are focused on the instrument level, the analytical lab. We've got really good data models, and we've streamlined our DevOps, and we have reliability and dependability on our release. We're beginning to understand to see exemplified in the next slide. We're beginning to understand that we need to think about beyond the instrument, we think about the customers of our data. So we're going to talk about domain expansion. And we recognize that the world of technology is changing very rapidly around us. So we need to be cognizant of that. Be cognizant that what we're doing doesn't become obsoleted too quickly, but we also need to understand how we can capitalize on those changes in technology. And then we need to dove together some of the concepts around implementation. And as we think about some of those concepts around implementation, we need to think about federation, and we need to think about strategic partnerships, and we need to think about what opportunities those offer us now at this point in time. And then we need to think about our approach to demonstrating, proving, and delivering value, the concept of prototyping. And then we need to think about our ability to execute. So those are the parameters, the tenets of strategy that we need to bring together. Any community, any competitive alliance can have these tenets of strategy. The secret sauce for us as a community, how we decide to bring them together, what we decide to prioritize, and importantly, how to connect them to relatable value. Connect them to relatable value through this focus on use cases, really guiding the choices we make, the directions we choose, and the delivery that we're able to bring to our different businesses. So yesterday, what we did at the board meeting is on where we are today. Is that important? It's really good to have you out today. Interestingly, it's easy to do. But this is important because we are at the point where we have a solid foundation. So we are and we understand how to package key results produced by an instrument class for a specific sample. We serve those to our customers so that one scientist can interpret the results the same way as another scientist across labs over time. Having reached and arrived at that foundation, we're now able to step up with increasing impact and increasing value. And as you look at the step, you will see the complexity of the use cases goes up. And you also see that the need to connect dots across domains, the ability to connect to more customers globally across ecosystems, lab and plant becomes equity. And so this we have the ability to weave in the concept, how we leverage ontologies, how do we leverage federation, how do we leverage that ecosystem. As we do this, we have the opportunity to really facilitate exchange of that package of data across our networks, our customers. We have the opportunity now to broaden the contextualization of results generated by at a point in time across the consumer base over time. And we're also able to think about how we can create more meaning through introducing semantics that provide the basis for that context that can carry proof to customer use that then allows us to think about how we can set the stage for using that contextualization to drive of unparalleled automation. So now what I wanted to do as a backdrop, and these slides are available for the attendees to refer to as we go through the next couple of days. So we will make the slides available, because what I would like to ask the community at the Connect is keep referring back to these slides, because this framework of the introduction will become really important when we come to the close of day 2. So now I wanted to reflect on the agenda, some of the themes, not in detail, but some of the themes that I think we'll see carry through. So the first one, talk that we hear, Rich, talk about the digital ecosystem. So if you think about the digital ecosystem, we have a point in that ecosystem, and I don't have a privilege Richard is going to share in his talk, but I have some themes that might be in there. So we're at this point in the ecosystem where we really think about it differently. It's not just a digital ecosystem of tools and technologies, but it's a digital ecosystem of collaborators. It's a digital ecosystem where we have an unprecedented rate of change. That rate of change is both in technology, that rate of change is both in generation patterns and consumption patterns of that data. In the Spring Connect, we talk about this point of disruption where AI now in us, and it had the potential to transform our dependency on data and what we could do with that data, how we could get it in a more democratized way into the hands of everybody. What has that done from the Spring Connect? That potential has become real. It has become very real. Also, that potential of generative AI and large models is helping take some of the cost and time of making it useful and making our data more valuable. We've also created an unparalleled data, because what we can do with that data, the knowledge that we can build from it, and also the automation we can create with it, and data science that we within it. And so therefore we've created in the ecosystem this tornado effect, which is ours to now control. The good news is nobody is now asking the question, why is data important? Everybody is trying to understand how we can leverage technologies that put that business on our data and do it in a way more accessible to machines. So that is a very theme that will be touched on in we will come back at the end of the day tomorrow, and we will ask ourselves as a community, how prepared are we to accept that call to action and to leverage the unprecedented opportunity we sit right at the convergence of now. We're into more of the, we're going to hear about the ELN, that workhorse across labs in being able to capture the data and the experiment and the results, the conclusion, and how the evolution of ELN as a platform is changing across our laboratories. We're then also to hear explicitly and implicitly about which we can leverage tools such as ontologies to make it is easy and simple for context to be added to data across its life cycle. How is the world of validation around our data for an industry driven by regulators and funds? Validation used to be something that down was very expensive and critical to being able to introduce new technologies into the more regulated part of business. How can we rethink and reimagine validation in the world that we live in today around our data? We're then going to hear at the end of the day today from our product team. So we're basically going to hear from the product team where are we as we basically head into Q4 2024? And in day 2, what we're going to do is pick up on some of these. We're going to see how the current Allotrope products are being implemented in your labs, in your products. So this theme of implementation, not prototype production implementation. What opportunities does that create? And what opportunities does that create? Map it back to the use case. And when we map it back, what do we expect, not just of Allotrope, but what do we expect and need from the ecosystem and from the strategic partnerships and the opportunities that we have to work more to basically go further, but also to go faster, given the tools that are at our hand and with the clarity that we have of vision and opportunity. And at the end of the day, we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to bring things together with the hopefully ideas that by this point will be percolating in your minds over what you've heard over the last 2 days. Bring it back to that high level frame of the use cases and the strategic roadmap and capture your thoughts and ideas on how we should mature that. So we start the year with clarity on what we're going to focus on. We maintain agility versus waterfall and connect again in spring that we'll be able to share more of action. We'll be able to hit on some of these ideas of strategic partnerships and the maturity and the evolution of the ecosystem of ecosystems. Basically continue marching through 2025 to the Connect forum that we have in the fall. Again, Connect is in the title. Connect with the talks. It is. Connect with people within your own company that you may have met face to face for the first time. That happened today with some colleagues from Merck. So enjoy meeting people from your own companies, meeting and sharing it with people from the community. This is our community, and we hold success in our hands. As the second chair of Allotrope a decade ago, people ask me, why did you take on the chair role again? I can honestly say that a decade ago, the aspiration today is still the aspiration of a decade ago. We didn't have the community, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have the velocity. We have all three now. So enjoy the I'm thrilled that we have so many of you here.